What is up, YouTube? This is Niiight with yet another deck profile video. This time I will be showcasing my gray deck, the deck of zombies. Let's get started. 1 Shiranui Spectral Sword. I've tried running this card as more than one, but it clogs too heavily. It's a good card though. It's a 2-star tuner, and if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it except during the turn it was sent there, along with a different zombie, and you can special summon an appropriate zombie synchro monster. But it's not a synchro summon, it's a special summon. 3 uni-zombie. This is the real good tuner of this deck, and it's only going to get more valuable as time goes by. Drop a card from your hand, or a zombie from your deck to the grave. You can increase the level of a monster on the field. The funny thing is, it doesn't have to be your own monster. It can be your opponent's, which means you don't have to waste your effects increasing your monster's levels beyond what they need to be. 3 goblin zombie. Sent from field to grave, search a zombie with 1200 or less defense from deck to hand, and if it manages to do battle damage, you get to mill a card from your opponent's deck. 3 Mizuki. If it's in the grave, banish it, bring back a zombie from the grave. Very standard zombie card. You don't see many zombie decks without this. Shiranui Smith. This card is great. If it's used for a synchro summon of a zombie, you get to add a Shiranui card from your deck to your hand. Also, if it's banished, you get to make your zombie monsters indestructible in battle for this turn. 3 Spirit Master. This card's fairly good. When it's normal summoned, you special summon any Shiranui monster from the grave, but that card's banished when it leaves the field. And if this card is banished, you get to pop a card on the field. 3 Zombie Master. I've gone back and forth with this card. I like it too much in this deck to not use it. Drop a card from your hand, a monster card specifically, target a zombie in the grave at level 4 or lower, special summon it back. 2 Vampire Duke. People hate me for this card, not just because it's decent, it's because it works in a weird way. If it's normal summoned, you get to target a zombie or a dark vampire in your grave and special summon it. That includes itself. But if it's special summoned, you also have the ability to make your opponent send a card, monster, spell, or a trap, your choice, directly from their deck to the grave. It's a great little tech engine that makes them just that slight bit weaker. Into the spells, we have 2 Books of Life. Special summon a zombie out of your grave and banish a card from your opponent's. This card just seems a little unfair to me. Burial from a different dimension, of course. This card banishes too much for it to not use this. 1 Foolish, of course. It relies on the grave. Gold Sark. This card fun in this deck. You banish a card from your deck, 2 turns later it's added to your hand. It sets off the Shiranui effects. 2 MST, 3 Shiranui style synthesis. I've gone back and forth between 2 and 3 of this card, but 3 is consistent enough. You discard a card from your hand if you control no monsters, then you can activate one of these effects. You either special summon a zombie from your grave with 0 defense, or you take a banished zombie with 0 defense and put it in the grave. This automatically makes it better than Zombie Master, but both are kind of needed. And 2 Terraforming for the aforementioned Shiranui style synthesis. For traps, Bottomless. 2 Memory Loss. Mirror Force. 3 Shiranui style Swallow Slash. This card is what I primarily search with Shiranui Smith. Tribute a zombie, destroy 2 cards on the field, then you banish a Shiranui card from your deck. And 1 Torrential. Moving into the side, we have a Plague Spreader zombie. No zombie deck's really complete without it. As well as the other 2 Spectral Swords. A Samurai. I don't really like it enough to put it in the main, but its effect isn't bad. You can banish a zombie from your grave, boost his attack by 6, and then anything he battles, you banish. And it lasts until the end of this turn, but if it's banished, you target a Shiranui monster in your grave and add it to your hand. So it's not bad. It's just, I've tried using it, I couldn't use it enough. As well as the 3rd Smith, the 3rd Duke, 2 Dark Holes, 3 Miracle Dig. This card is kind of like the DD card I showed you earlier, except not as good. If there are 5 or more monsters of yours that are banished, you get to put 3 of them back in the grave. MST, Compulsory, and Vanities. For the extra, we have an Archfiend Zombie Skull. I don't even summon this card legitimately, but I still love it. If it's face up on the field, your zombies cannot be destroyed by card effects. Mirror Force, Torrential, dead. Another one is Doomkaiser Dragon. When it's special summoned, you take a zombie from your opponent's grave and special summon it to your side. Not really useful, but I do occasionally see people running some kind of zombie in some of their decks, so it's not a bad option. Revived King Hades, another zombie I can only special summon, but I love it. You negate the effects of effects monsters destroyed by battle with zombies. 3. Samurai Saga. This card is the primary one that I summon in this deck. Zombie tuner, one more non-tuner zombies. During either player's turn, you can target a banished zombie, put it back in your deck, and you can turn all opponent's monsters whose attack is less than the monster you returned to defense mode. And if this card gets banished, target an opponent's monster and it loses 500 attack. Here's the problem though, you can only special summon one Samurai Saga a turn, so that automatically makes it kinda slow, but it's not terrible. Also 2 Shogun Saga. Also only able to be summoned once per turn, but if it's special summoned, you can target a banished zombie-type monster, or rather you can target a zombie-type monster in your grave and banish it, and it gains attack for that turn, which sets off some of the Shiranui effects. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the grave, you target a banished zombie with 0 defense and return it to the grave. I also run 2 Bram. I've come into realization that, well, uni-zombie's effect boosts its level by up to 2, making it a possibility of 5. So if I drop, say, Vampire Duke from hand and Mizuki from deck, or reversed, then I can set up a rank 5 play. Detach a material, target a monster in your opponent's grave, special summon it, but this card can't attack for the rest of the turn. So, bearing this in mind, you can use this effect during main phase 2, and this card can still attack this turn. And if it is destroyed, you can special summon it during your next standby phase, in defense mode. 2 Pilgrim Reaper. I really don't summon this card too often, but I love it. No attack or defense. It gains 200 for each dark monster in either player's grave. You can detach a material to make both players mill 5. Finally, Lancelot. It can attack your opponent directly while it has material. If it does battle damage, you detach a material, target a monster, or actually no, you just target a monster and destroy it. You don't even have to detach. Its detach effect is that once per turn during either player's turn, when the spell trap or effect monster is activated, you detach a material and negate it. It's mandatory. And that is essentially the deck. I like this deck. It's not really good right now because we're still waiting on new Shiranui support to come out, and when it comes out, this deck's probably going to be a lot better. But for what it is fun. It irritates people when you mill them randomly, causing them to lose some valuable cards, depending on what deck it is. But I love it. It's funny, it's fun. I just can't wait to see where this deck goes. This is Niiight, signing out.